All right, we are back. Welcome back to Knicks Morning Koffee. I think it's episode 15. Today I want to talk about a few points with the Knicks. There's been a couple of things that have been in the news this week. It hasn't been as much this week about Julius Randle, but I think it's just bound to happen that they just got, gung-ho that they just want to trade him. So I made a case for him last week of why we could keep him. Again, I wouldn't lose no sleep if we don't keep him, but, the Knicks got to do what they got to do. But this week, a lot of the talk has been about Chris Paul. And I'm not opposed to getting Chris Paul, but, what will we give up to get him?
I don't think we need him.
Yeah, we don't need him. I do like, I think it's Knicks Fan TV talking about how he can set the culture. And I do agree with that. He can set the culture with the young guys. But you got to realize, too, our young guys are not like the young guys that he dealt with out there in OKC. And my main reason is that the young kids in OKC, at least they were able to play their game. For some reason with the Knicks, we just stifle our guys and we just put them in a hole. But, if you're going to get Chris Paul, then you can get Chris Paul, but we can't give up too much to get him.
Chris Paul, getting Chris Paul on our team, our young guys are the guards. You know what I mean? So I don't even know how that's going to help unless you're going to bring in some more veterans at other positions.
Yeah, that's the other flip side to it. Who do we get rid of, and where is our focus going to be? If you notice, we're not talking about guards as much as we were, early in this process. But I think Leon Rose and them are smart enough to know that you're not just going to, bank your whole role on Chris Paul, who has a 40-something million price tag this year. And then next year, he also has about a $44 million price tag. So, we got to be smart. We can't just shed our little salaries and then somebody else get a big thing like Chris Paul and some of these other guys, and they get $30, $40 coming off of their books. And then next year, now they can go out and land the big fish, because we all know that the payroll is going to be smaller this year, because of the pandemic. So some guys may come on the cheap. So, hey, let's be a little bit smarter this time. People have been using us for years on end. And this time we got to put our foot down. Okay, if we got to run it back with these same guys just to save money for the following year at least, and maybe bring in a guy or two, then let's do that. But let's don't put all our eggs in one basket and tie our money up. And now when the payroll goes up, which will go up probably, I don't want to say twice as much, but it'll go up way more than normal the following year. So now look at the money we'll have to spend. But even though I'm saying all that, and I'm tired of waiting on saving money for free agents, that's just getting old with me. But let's just not just take on somebody else's salary and make it easier for them the following year to go out and land these big fish that'll, either put them in the championship or at least make them a contender, when it could be us, But, Chris Paul, I'm not so opposed to getting him. But, again, that's not a move that we have to make, with our current roster. Even if we just add one other player, that's not a move that we got to make. We can run this back what we got and then see what our coaches can do, during the practices. And then, another name that's been floating out there is Kelly Oubre. Now, I've always liked Kelly Oubre, since he was on the Wizards. But, again, with Phoenix, why take on somebody else's salary? Yeah, he could help us. He can shoot. I'm not sure how much of a defender he is. He could be a defender, but is it that much of a difference for us with the guys we got? Because we still got guys that we can develop. So I don't know. Knicks, sometimes, we get, gung-ho about bringing in new pieces, but where are we gonna land after we do these little moves that really don't make us better? Again, if it's not gonna make us, better right away, then let's just run what we got.
And I feel like it's too early because it's not like we having practices, to see where we even going to take this. But we said it in the beginning. We said when we got Thibodeau that he's not a developer like that. So they probably just trying to get pieces that they probably think is going to work already.
Yeah.
Or if they're talking about Chris Paul, can they be bringing in other people? Because why would you even take Chris Paul if you're not even thinking about bringing in people with him?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Got to bring in somebody else if you're going to bring in Chris Paul. I mean, somebody's got to be able to help him out. And somebody got to be smart enough to play his type of a game. Because remember, our young guys are still learning the game. But as far as the Kelly Oubre, again, I like him as a player, but I don't see where he make us, that much better. And we just can't shed other people's salaries and make it our own. And then the following year, we're stuck with the large salaries. Right now we had the one and done or one in the options from last year. Take some of the options and then move the ones that you really don't need. The next topic I want to talk about
real
today.
quick.
Yeah.
I just thought about what happened if we had Chris Paul, Antetokounmpo, RJ Barrett, and they all running.
I mean, that lineup take care of itself. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Give me that. I'll take that right now. The only person I don't want to part with is Mitch. But you give me that right now. Okay, the other topic that I heard yesterday or the day before was that Frank is supposed to be penciled in as the starting point guard, I would assume. Am I opposed to that? No. I like Frank. We all like Frank. But what we're going to do around Frank, because the next thing I heard right after that is Tibbs still really likes Dennis Smith Jr. So, and then rightfully so, I guess he wanted to try to swing a deal when DSJ came out of college. But, where does that leave Elfrid Payton? I mean, Dennis Smith Jr., we know what he was supposed to be and probably still could be. And he's a driver. He may not really never learn how to shoot, but he do need to learn how to knock down an open shot. Just a routine shot. Okay, you ain't got to be the pull-up guy, but at least learn how to knock down a solid open shot when the ball swings your way, just to keep the defense honest. Frank can hit an open shot. He just don't take enough of them. But to me, Elfrid Payton, let's not just give Elfrid Payton away, because he has value. And if you feel like you want to move on from him, then let's get him in there and let's get something for him. Let's re-sign him and then ship him out. Somebody's going to take him. So you're not stuck with him. The guy's a heady player. He played better in certain situations, but I don't know why everybody's so down on Elfrid Payton. I mean, to me, he's like a leader point guard, and you kind of get lost in the Knicks system, especially last year with all those guards, because you don't know from one day to the next, if you're going to be the starter again, or if you're even going to play again. So, you're going to send out a point guard to be the leader of the team, to run the offense, and that's going to give them the confidence to play their game. And Elfrid Payton to me, he's a really good player. But again, if we don't bring in nobody and we decide that we're going to go with Frank, who is steady, and then you're going to bring in DSJ, who can push, fine. I can live with that, but let's get our coaches in there and refine their game, so that it works for everybody. Dennis Smith Jr., he's a tremendous talent as far as getting up and down the court, getting to the bucket, and you see how high he can fly. But again, we got to turn him into a guard that's serviceable to us. We need people that can get everybody else involved, as opposed to only getting their own shot off. So that's just something that, the Knicks got to deal with. But at the same time, I'm not that crazy about the draft this year, because there's really no significant, players that really help us right away in this draft, and we just piling draft picks. And yeah, you want to have draft picks, moving forward, just in case things break down. But at some point, we got to lay a foundation with the guys we got. We got a ton of young guys. We got Iggy. We just got the kid Perry, and then we got Mitch. What are we gonna do with them? Let's work on the young guys that we got. And let's start building a future and a culture within the New York Knicks, and guys who have only been Knicks, and that's what New York like, the hard head guys that came in from the ground up with us, and we don't never get to keep that. Now, we've had Frank for a few years, but he hasn't really panned out the way I guess they wanted him to go that early in the draft. But now that we got him, let's get him going. Let's get our foundation So when people look at the New York Knicks, they're going to say, wow, that's a homegrown player, doing this. So, I just don't understand what direction that we're going in, with the draft, and then we want more picks for next year. And we already got a lot of picks. Now let's get some players and let's build a foundation. Yeah, you're supposed to hold picks just in case, and that you also can use for trades. But let's develop the guys we got and not just keep looking at our salary cap and our draft picks for the following year. Let's deal with the year that's at hand. Which brings me to my third point is Mitchell Robinson. Now, how much of his development next year is going to be our coaches working on him or us just turning him loose? Mitch has a lot of basketball skills. As a big man, let's use him for that. Now, teams are going small, but we've seen all his highlights and his videos, how he's out there and he's shooting threes and he's getting to the hole. Okay, at least we know he can do that. And I know the video footage that I've seen, I know you've probably seen some of it too, Joey. Mm. He's kind of wiry, going to the hole, leaving the ball out there a little bit too far, but that's stuff that the coaches can work on. But just the fact that he's comfortable putting it on the floor, and I've noticed last year in some of the games, he wants the ball down low. He don't just want to be a rim runner, and a pick and roll to the basket. You've seen him at times when that ball is flying around, he'll stop and he'll post for a second. He wants it, but he'll get overlooked and then he'll swing around the other way.
If I'm not mistaken, he got to be like 5 for 5 from the post, because every time he posts, he do the right thing. It's not like he.
Well, yeah, he don't. But you notice he don't really get it when he call for it. He just gets overlooked. But we should have enough confidence in Mitch. Just throw him the ball. He got good footwork. You've seen that, so he'll be able to get around his guy or go over his guy. And then it, remains to be seen if he'll make the pass out of the post. But let's put him in those situations. Like, he's our gem. RJ, we know what RJ's probably going to be. Once he tightens up that jump shot, and then we put the ball in his hand to do what he do. But Mitch is our golden ticket. And if we don't take advantage of that, then when his time comes to leave, he's going to leave. And somebody commented last week, a man named Steve, about should we lock up Mitch? And then absolutely, let's lock up Mitch. Yeah, he comes on the cheap right now, but later on we feel he deserves more money. Let's rip up that contract and give him more money, because we already let Porzingis go. We can't keep letting these big 7-footers with all these skills just walk out the door. And really, we're not getting nothing for him. Mitch is, to me, he's a prime player in this league, and we got to put the ball in his hand and let him do his thing. All right? So that's it for this week. But what we're looking for everybody to do is like, comment, and please, subscribe and also share, because we want to do more things. And as the numbers goes up, we can get into bigger and better things. But,
tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend, tell a friend. And to all of Knicks Nation, peace.